Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the replay. Thank you, all of you, for tuning in. I'm excited to bring this guest to you all today. If you have been following the Confetti Collective, especially if you watch Mondays with Mo, you know that at the end of every broadcast, I always ask for people to submit their topics and things that they want to discuss. And that's not just because I'm being nosy, but I really want to know what conversations you want to have, because that allows me to go out and find the people that are experts in those areas so that I can bring that conversation to you. So today we are chatting with a new friend of mine, licensed counselor and certified grief specialist, Denesha Chambers. Thank you, Denesha. Denesha is joining us from Atlanta, y'all. The Atlanta area. So a lot of my audience we're based, the Confetti Collective is based in Arizona. So we have a lot of ladies in Arizona. So it's just exciting for me to be able to kind of have conversations with people outside of our state, outside of our side of the country. So I'm excited. And I know the ladies will be. So those of you that are watching, drop your comments, drop your questions while we have Denesha on. I want to read you her bio, and then we're going to kind of get into this chat. So Denesha Chambers is a licensed professional counselor and certified grief specialist with over 11 years experience. She's served in various settings with significant experience in crisis work, college counseling, and women's issues. The Confetti Collective, y'all know we're all about women. It matches, right? Her business, Live in Color Red LLC, was founded in 2013 in order to have the autonomy and platform that encourages individuals and the community at large to live inspired and value everything. LIVE. Yeah. So setbacks become setups to progress, healing, and a life of victory. Denesha lives in the suburbs of Atlanta with her husband and 2 young sons, and in her free time is important, y'all. Yeah. She enjoys her new time, taking walks, traveling, and music. So Denesha, again, thank you so much for, taking a few minutes out to talk to us and really to share what it is that you're working on. You and I connected this year, 2019, from being a part of the Epic conference in Vegas. And that even that's a whole conversation in itself, right? How, we go through things, and especially for women, we will make these decisions about how we're going to live our lives. And we say, well, I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start going to events. I'm going to start taking trips and doing all these things. But we have to follow through on those decisions, right? So it would have been one thing just to say, well, I'm going to go to this event, spend this money, do all this thing, but it would have been wasted if I hadn't have then decided to follow up with people and make those connections deeper with people that I met at the event. So thank you so much again, just for your willingness to come and chat with us. We had planned, when we decided we were going to do this, the plan was to talk about your campaign, the Health in Motion campaign. And we're going to get to that, but I kind of wanted to start with the other area of your expertise, which is being a grief specialist. Over the last week and a half, we have seen, our country has seen these horrific mass shootings, 3, if you count Gilroy, El Paso, and Dayton, 3 mass shootings. And a lot of people, at least in my timeline, I am seeing people that are struggling with processing, the news. They're not watching the news. They're not consuming it because it's bringing up trauma. It's bringing up issues. So what advice or what tips would you give somebody that might be watching that, and maybe their grief isn't related to similar to what happened in these mass shootings? Maybe it's something else, but they're realizing that because I still carry the effects of this, of their trauma with them, they're still trying to figure out how to deal because it's being brought up again. So what advice, what tips would you give to somebody that might be feeling overwhelmed, might be experiencing some anxiety simply because of where we are in the world right now?
Yes. I think this is just a great opportunity to have this discussion of course, in very unfortunate circumstances. But what you just mentioned about people having boundaries and balancing the amount of exposure that they allow themselves to ingest these traumas or that might be triggering to the traumas or the grief that they already carry is really a huge self care and coping mechanism for these times.
Hmm.
And I like to always encourage my clients or people that I speak to regarding this topic to make sure that they are having that level of compassion towards themselves. You know, not that they, of course, we don't want to be on an island of our own and detached completely from the world, but, you know, check in with yourself when you find out about these sort of occurrences, these events. Ask yourself, okay, what's my tolerance level right
Hmm.
now? I mean, you just have to be authentic and honest with yourself. There's only so much, you know, that we can take before our cup starts filling over. You know, our strength starts running out, and so that's probably the first step. Um, that I would suggest. Just be clear about your tolerance for how much exposure and how much you ingest.
I like that. I like that. I mean, because we can't tell the truth to anybody else if we can't tell the truth to ourselves.
Oh, that's
So, you know,
right.
we have to be,
Period.
we definitely have to be honest about, okay, this is stressing me out. I cannot consume this. I
Hmm.
can't, you know, sit and listen to the conversations or watch the news or even, you know, see the posts floating through the timeline, because we recognize what it's bringing up. So, yeah, I like what you said, especially as women, we don't have a
Yes.
problem having compassion for others, but we should show that same or even higher level of compassion for ourselves and
Yeah.
not put ourselves through something that we know we won't be able to tolerate.
Right. That level of investment, that compassion to ourselves, the return on that investment is the way we're able to serve others. So by having that compassion and with that compassion towards ourselves, right, there's a greater return for others. So it allows to have sort of the best of both worlds.
I love that. And because again, speaking the woman's language, you know, we're nurturers and we're conditioned to take care of other people. So when we put it in that perspective and we think, well, I won't be able to serve in my capacity, whatever capacity that is, if I'm not whole first. So
Hmm.
that forces us to think, I've got to take care of me first so that I can go out and do and take care of all the people that I believe I'm called, you know, to serve. So that's a really good um, flip of that mindset. If we think
Oh
about it
yeah.
that way, then we won't give ourselves an escape route. We'll be diligent about making sure that we're good first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Leave the judgment where it's supposed to be. You know,
exactly,
not
exactly.
in
I love that.
you.
I love that. So let's talk about. So I wanted to get that out of the way because I like to address the elephants in the room, and I know, you know, there are people trying to process it, trying to figure it out, trying to make their way through, and
Mm.
typically as women, you know, we'll throw on some lipstick and some lashes and say, I'm good because we look a certain way, but inside it's a mess.
Right.
So,
Yeah. It's
so
only
I
part
kind
of the process.
of, exactly. I kind of
Mhm.
want us, you know, just to get in, even in the habit of first, like telling the truth about what we're dealing with, being clear about that and being honest about that so that we can work through it. So, thank you for those tips. So let's talk about health
Mhm.
in motion.
Okay.
Like I like I said, since we connected, I have seen I've seen you walking your talk. I've seen you prioritizing your health and doing things, um, like we just said, to make sure that you are whole first. So, kind of tell us about what the Health in Motion campaign is, what it is, and why you decided to start it.
Okay. Well, if I can flip it a little, I'd like to talk about why I started it. I was just, in reflection of my own journey of healing from trauma, and just how I cope with the stressors that come at me from day to day, as a mother, wife, therapist, friend, so on and so forth. And it hit me that it's something that I've always done. As a child, growing up in California, sunny California, being outdoors is nothing for us.
Hmm.
And I've always sort of loved to run. And when I think about how I was able, or how I've been able to be resilient through my own trauma circumstances, I really had to ask myself, wow, maybe it was more than just running that I was doing. Maybe um, playing outside with friends, etc., had more to do with than with just me hanging with friends,
Hmm.
right? In actuality, it was it was activating natural hormones, dopamine, serotonin, and those things that could elevate my mood, even though when I was at home there was a lot of chaos. And so I wanted to um, incorporate that into sort of my mission and vision with the clients that I have in the community that I serve, because I'm noticing with clients oftentimes they're asking, what can I do? Like, they're actually very high functioning individuals for the most part, but they just have that maybe that situational stressor, or that recent trauma
Hmm.
that knocks them off their feet. And um, and and sometimes it's kind of unsettling for them to say, okay, let's just talk about it. No, they want to do something about it. And so what I said is, you can heal and still be productive, in essence. And that productivity is through physical activity.
Hmm.
Okay. And sort of intertwining the natural physical benefits of activity to promote the internal emotional healing that might take a little longer to get to. Okay, so when I'm walking, it's about my physical health, but it's also an emotional affirmation that I'm well, right? That I can move one foot in front of the other and get somewhere, right? Whereas I might feel very emotionally stuck. So that's kind of what heal emotion is about, or putting the heal in health, because we can't have health, whether it's physical, financial, um, help me out here,
Emotional,
social, all of
everything.
those things.
Yeah,
We can't spell health without healing in any of those areas of our life.
that is so good. Like, even as you were talking, I'm like, you're just flipping it. Conventional
Hmm.
wisdom, will say, oh, well, you got to work on the inside first, and then that manifests on the outside. But for some people, the it's easier to start the process of the healing, to start with the outside, to take the walk. And
Yep.
then over the course of taking the walk, that, like you said, that emotional, that internal affirmation comes from the physical activity.
Yeah.
If you've been telling yourself, or somebody been telling you you're weak and you can't do this, and you're trying to process all of that, but you can go take a walk, you are the activity is making those negative words a lie, and you are
Yeah.
affirming what is the truth.
You have physical evidence, you have external evidence, where internally, again, it could feel very abstract. And then that's where we build up resistance, and we become defiant, and in many ways self-destructive or self-sabotaging,
Mhm.
because we don't have that evidence readily.
Oh, that is so good. That is so good. I mean, because you think about people that go through a weight loss journey. Even, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, even we were just
Think
talking about
about
hair before
this.
we think about people. You're going through that journey and you're doing
Uh-huh.
the physical things,
Hmm.
but you, as you're going through that process, you're realizing that the changes are happening internally as well, in your emotions, in your mental wellness, in your well-being, in how you see yourself. All of
Yeah.
those things are being changed while you are walking on the treadmill
Yeah.
or taking a walk around the neighborhood or riding the bike. That is so good. That is, oh
Yeah.
my God, that just makes me excited. So you through the campaign, through the program, you encourage people to get physical or to create that physical manifestation of
Mm-hmm.
kind of where they want to get to internally. So do you encourage other types of activities? What do you kind of, how do you
Yeah.
approach, what's your approach in helping them to get moving? Because you know, as the professional, that when they get moving, that's going to spark positive change everywhere else.
Yes. So I like to promote. Oh, I'm sorry, there's a little feedback. So I like to promote the physical activity, right, in order to sort of let our body start creating that momentum, and then simultaneously have a emotional or cognitive exercise to go with that, right? And so if you're going for a walk, if you're doing that kickboxing class, how can you view that not only as a physical activity, but look at your current stress, look at your current issue or problem, and see how there might be similarities, right? In the group, I often put prompts out there to say, okay, today, um, um, today I want you to give yourself a compliment, because oftentimes, um, especially for even high functioning or the strong women that I serve, when they can't figure something out, they take it personally and think it's sort of um, uh, a defamation, I guess, of
Mhm.
their ability, right?
Got it.
And so it's important for me to always encourage the self worth, the value talk, the positive verbal affirmations, right? So again, it's all about gaining the tools and techniques that are going to get you through the journey. Okay. And then through that progress, you'll be much closer to healing than you would have ever thought.
That is so awesome. That is so good. So tell me, where can people that are watching this, if they're as excited as I am, and kind of
Mhm.
realizing, because like you said, the physical manifests in other ways, or the internal manifests in the physical realm. So
Yeah.
being able to find the connection between the activity and the internal struggle, that's kind
Hmm.
of how you coach and take your that's the journey you take your clients through,
Yeah.
being able to see how what they're doing with their hands, with their feet, with their body is a sign that they can overcome the internal thing. So
Hmm.
where can women find more information about I'm saying health, but it's health, more to focus, because your goal is
Yeah.
focused on healing.
Pretty
Heal
much.
in
Yeah.
motion. That's
Yeah.
that's the process. It's the not forgetting the heal in health. So where can we
Exactly.
find more information about the program? Um, and where can we follow you? Where can people follow you?
Yeah. So I'm on. Please, 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 please feel free to join the Facebook group called "Putting the Heel in Health." Putting the Heel in Health. I'm also on Instagram on occasion. I'm trying to navigate both platforms, but I'm also on Instagram as um, this is so funny, Mo. What is my Instagram? Denesha Chambers.
Okay. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so Denesha Chambers on IG, Facebook
Yes.
community. It's across. I got it across the bottom third of our video. Putting
Yes.
the heel in health.
Yes. I can't
I
believe I
love
had
it.
that mental brain fart, but
I
yes,
love it. Well, it
that's where
happens.
I'm
That's what we do. So, and if
at.
they join the community, you gonna be there anyway. So they'll still get you if they join the Facebook group. So because you.
Yes. Thank
So
you so
thank you
much for
so
having
much.
me.
Thank you so much, Denesha. I appreciate you so much. I know our ladies are going to value this conversation, um, because that's what, here at the Confetti Collective, we talk about creating our big, beautiful life. But you
That's good.
can't even start that process if you're unhealthy.
No,
If you are unhealthy
no, we
physically,
can't.
emotionally, mentally, like you have to get well, you have to get healthy, you have to get healed first. And
Yeah.
the next level is creating that big, beautiful life. So you can enjoy all of the,
All
the
of that.
fruit of our labors.
And we so want you to enjoy that, all of that, and that big beautiful life. So
Yes.
let's heal, people.
Exactly. Thank you
Uh-huh.
so much, Denesha. I know you got a busy day ahead of you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you spending about 30 quick minutes with us. Thank you again so very much.
Oh no, thank you, Mo. I appreciate you and the collective.
So you all check out Denesha's platform, Putting the Heal in Health. Get the
Yeah.
Facebook community. Her links will be tagged in the comments of this broadcast. If you have any questions, even if you're watching this on a replay, you have any questions for Denesha, drop them here in the comments and we'll get you some answers, girl, because we want
Yeah.
we want all of
Yes.
us to be enjoying this ride together. So
There's no
thank you
silly
all so much for tuning
questions.
in. Yes, yes. Please
Uh-huh.
drop your questions. Don't leave. Don't be walking around with questions. Get your
Yes.
questions.
Yes.
So thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will catch you all later.
Bye
Bye.
bye.